All right. Here we go, guys and gals. And boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, drivers.
And we're live with the Loose Wheel Podcast.
We're not live.
Episode 17. Well, we're here.
We're here. We're
We're
not
live now.
We're
not.
We're not
The
live.
later. That's the thing.
No.
That's how time works. Anyway, Andrew Caslet here, as always.
Ethan Ignatowski here, as always.
Yeah. Let's get into the reviews.
And now for last week's race reviews.
We have Barber happened. Lap 1, turn 1, VK hits.
This is the Loose Wheel Podcast, by the way.
Yeah, if you didn't know, you somehow managed to click on this channel that says the Loose Wheel Podcast and the episode that says the Loose Wheel Podcast. But anyway, we're here
Talking about wheels.
talking about wheels.
What's your favorite kind of wheel?
Steering.
Wheel of cheese for me.
Yeah. A lot of good wheels out there. I like these wheels on these chairs.
Mm-hmm. They make them more fun. Whee!
He's spinning around in his chair. Anyway, back to me talking about IndyCar at Barber. Lap 1, turn 1. VK hits
Ow.
Stingray Robb and as well Kiffin Simpson and Jack Harvey were collective. Robb and Harvey spun. VK had a drive-through penalty. Santino Ferrucci hit Colton Herta. 5 spins after locking brakes, avoiding the 45. That's Pat O'Ward avoiding Christian Lundgaard. Scott McLaughlin leads through all this. Again, Santino Ferrucci pushes Colton Herta off track. Pat O'Ward hits curb and then hits the 30, who crashes. Pat O'Ward with a drive-through. Some people pit on this yellow. The 18 of Jack Harvey forces the 4 of Kiffin Simpson off. Scott Dixon spun on a kind of a reverse dive bomb on the outside of Graham Rahal. The 12 of Will Power ran wide, lost position. The 20 runs on outside of 28, and then he ran off because he was on the outside. The 3-stop strategy people pit, leading to Alex Palou to lead. The 10. Then the 2 stoppers pit. And then Marcus Armstrong tried to Joseph Newgarden, which is a move in a certain turn that Joseph Newgarden did on the way to victory, but hits him.
Ow.
Kyle Kirkwood hits Joseph Newgarden. Romain Grosjean hits Kyle Kirkwood. Kyle Kirkwood hits Romain Grosjean. On this, Scott McLaughlin is leading. The 51 this week was driven by Luca Giolito. Is off.
That's very Italian.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce Italian names. That's probably butchered it. He drove an
Lucas
F2.
Gelato.
Gelato. We've got cold custard and gelato now.
Ooh, get them on a team together.
Yeah, different series, but that would be nice. Yeah. He was in Formula 2 at one point. Gelato was.
Lucas Gelato, really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Gotta look this guy up.
It's Giolito. Or something like that. Alexander Rossi lost a
Lucas
wheel.
Giolito, the baseball player?
It's Luca.
Yeah, but spelled that way.
I think so. I don't know. Hopefully come up. Alexander Rossi lost a wheel exiting the pits. And you know what that is, Ethan?
No.
A loose wheel.
Ah, it is.
Sometimes my genius is genius.
How do you spell Luca?
Lucas without the S.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I looked that up. Nothing. This guy just doesn't exist.
Just search up 2024 IndyCar, and then Luca, and then he'll come up, I guess.
All right.
After that, the 78 slid in the pits under the caution and almost hit Felix Rosenqvist.
There's no L in there.
I don't know how to pronounce Italian names. And then the three stoppers pit, which in this point your leaders were the
Yeah, dude, Luca Giotto, not Luca Giolito. I thought this was like a completely different person. What?
I don't know how to pronounce Italian names, people.
Okay.
The three stoppers pit, as I was mentioned, Alex Palou, Felix Rosenqvist, and Marcus Armstrong are your leaders on the three strategy. On the two stop strategy, the three stop strategy was McLaughlin, Power, Lundgaard. Power passes McLaughlin, then McLaughlin repasses Power. Then Georgina, the mannequin, who hangs off of a ridge in Barber, fell onto the track, and Luca, what's his last name?
Giotto.
Takes out her wrist.
Yikes.
So that was fun.
That's gotta be a safety concern.
Yeah. I've sent you all the video of that because that was funny. Stingray Rob then crashes because his steering wheel came off of the hub. Most two-stop people pits, but a couple stay out. You have the people that have to pit are at this point leading Santino Ferrucci, the 8 car of the one guy. I can picture his face, but Linus Lundqvist, that's his name. Scott McLaughlin, Kiffin Simpson, Will Power, but the Ferrucci, Simpson, and Lundqvist need a longer stop because they need more gas, trying to save, and this group look like they might need a yellow, is Palou, Rosenqvist, Power, Ray Hall, and Kirkwood. I'm tired today. Restart was waved off because Santino Ferrucci was just too fast, didn't know when to go. There you go, green. Ferrucci pits. Newgarden hits Tom Blomqvist. Lundqvist pits. McLaughlin pits, bringing the rest of the strategy. And then so after his pit stops, it was McLaughlin, Power, Palou, Rosenqvist, and Armstrong. Yes, McLaughlin pitted from the lead under green and still held the lead.
Wasn't the Max Verstappen?
No, everyone else was saving gas. And everyone or pitted.
Yeah.
Lundqvist not saving passes Palou, Armstrong, and Rosenqvist. So he got onto the podium. The 20 spins the 20, and then the 78 had to go up 8 positions for that. So that was Augustine Canapino spinning Christian Rasmussen, and then the 20 of Rasmussen spun again, causing a caution. Green, 2 laps left. Teddy Porkshops, or as he's known in Europe, Teo Porcher, spins, and Scott McLaughlin wins. Yeah, that race had a lot of contact, and I demonstrated it with Ethan there.
Yes.
Moving on to Dover. Not as much happened. Stage 1, Kyle Busch led. Todd Gilliland slid into 3, and then Gilliland spun. Everyone pitted. Top 3 was Blaney, Byron, Hamlin. Byron passes Blaney.
Who's the president?
Truex passes Byron. Keselowski spins caution. Truex wins stage 1 under the caution. Stage 2, the pit order was Truex, Byron, Blaney. Nothing really happened until green flag pit stops. LaJoie stayed out, led on strategy for a while. Then the order was Larson, Truex, Reddick, Larson won stage 2. Stage 3, caution. For the caution, everyone pits. Order was Hamlin, Larson, Bowman. Then green flag pit stops eventually happened. Larson passed Hamlin on pit road. Caution. At this point, Hemrick was the only driver not pitted. Caution was for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., not Spinhouse, who had just pitted. He merged up and onto the track, where Josh Berry was driving, sending Stenhouse into a spin.
So he became Spinhouse.
Well, that's been his nickname. The order after the Hemrick pitting was Larson, Hamlin, Busch. Actually, that was before that. Busch pitted with Hemrick, so it became Larson, Hamlin, Truex. Hamlin gets the lead immediately on the restart. Crash immediately, involving Bell, Bubba, and Byron. Killer Bees. What happened was 71 and Zane Smith spun Bubba Wallace. Then to avoid that, Byron spun Bell. Then Byron hit Bubba. Green flag. Hamlin wins due to aero blocking. So yeah, that was the news or the reviews. IndyCar, great race. If you haven't watched it, go watch it, even though I just spoiled it. Yeah, you see a lot of strange things like Georgina the mannequin falling onto the track. A lot of contact, a lot of great racing throughout the field. Good strategy. The whole cake. NASCAR, you didn't get that. Anyway, on to the news.
And now for the news.
And
you wrote an essay.
Well, I didn't write it. It's Command-C, Command-V, copy-paste procedure. Team Penske, this is before Barber happened.
That's called plagiarism.
Well, I'm not going to write it word for word, but you can all find this on Eraser if you want. Hit with penalties over push-to-pass use. Award declared St. Petersburg winner. At St. Pete, Newgarden, who finished first, McLaughlin finished third, were DQ'd. Power lost 10 points. Extensive review of data from the race on the streets of St. Petersburg revealed that Team Penske manipulated the overtake system so that the number 2, 3, and 12 cars had the ability to use push-to-pass on starts and restarts.
Do that.
According to the IndyCar rulebook, use of overtake is not available during races.
According to the IndyCar rulebook, you can't do that
until the car reaches the alternate start-finish line. So this is like in Formula 1, how you the equivalent of this is using DRS before it's activated. So all you Formula 1 heads, this is kind of like the IndyCar equivalent. It was determined that the number 2 and number 3 gained a competitive advantage by using push-to-pass on restarts, while the 12 did not. Additionally, all 3 entries have been fined $25,000 and will forfeit all prize money associated with the St. Petersburg race. Now you're wondering, how did they find this out? On this is not Sunday, but the Sunday in Long Beach, IndyCar is experiencing technical difficulties in race control during the first 10 minutes of the 30-minute warm-up practice session, and with their attention turned to these issues, push-to-pass was not activated when the green flag was waved. In these opening 10 minutes, when push-to-pass was inactive for the field 27, there was Team Penske was using it, and basically they were using push-to-pass when no one else was allowed to. They were racking up seconds of push-to-pass use. It was unclear if all 3 of these drivers were successful in using the push-to-pass button when it was deactivated, but we do know is they managed to expose Team Penske for having a live push-to-pass system during the warm while the system was off. Having pointed a finger at itself in warm-up, Penske's engine data and recent use of push-to-pass was subject of immediate review by IndyCar, whereupon it was found that Newgarden and McLaughlin had deployed push-to-pass in the inactive start/restart phases at the first race of the season. Newgarden's St. Pete win, McLaughlin's third place results were subsequently voided, and Power, who did not use the button, were docked 10 points. Individually, the two Newgarden used it 3 times for a total of 9 seconds, all during restarts. There's 3 seconds of push to pass on the restart on lap 30 on the front straights, 2.4 going to turn 4 on the same lap, and that's when the 2 overtook the 26 of Colton Herta. Joseph also used the push to pass for 3.6 seconds on the restart in lap 72 when he was leading. Scott used it out of turn 9 on lap 30 for 1.9 seconds. This is what all 3 drivers had to say about the incident. Scott McLaughlin: I was not aware of the situation with the software. In this instance, I used a single, very brief deployment of push to pass in a section of the track, the exit of turn 9, where it's typically utilized throughout the race. I hit the button out of habit. Power said, I was unaware of the situation until it was brought to our attention following Long Beach. This is what Newgarden had to say, and this is the most interesting one out of them all, Ethan.
All right, let's hear it.
Newgarden: I used push to pass at an unauthorized time twice on 2 different restarts, and so that responsibility and use of push to pass in the correct manner falls completely on me. It is my responsibility to know the rules and regulations at all points and to make sure I got that right. And with that regard, I failed my team miserably. The key difference on the number 2 car, which is important to understand, is that somehow, someway, we convinced ourselves that there was a rule change to the restart, specifically with overtake usage. And you say, well, how do you come up with this? This never happened before. The only place that this got introduced was the thermal exhibition race. There was a lot of discussion around it, and we somehow genuinely believed and convinced ourselves that at St. Pete that the rule was you can now use it immediately on restarts. You do not have to wait until the alt start finish line. It's going to be available immediately. I even wanted the team to run me of this so that I didn't forget. I still believed that the procedural difference on restarts applied for Long Beach. I tried to do the exact same thing leading the race at Long Beach. I even pushed the button. I came up with the radio. I said, hey guys, the overtake's not working correctly.
Interesting.
So, a lot of the team owners, they had, in Barber, they had a meeting in Roger Penske's bus, who was one of the 10 team owners and is also the owner of the series. So yeah, I do think everyone has handled it right.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't know if the 2 team was, it is very possible that the 2 team was blatantly cheating and this is a cover-up. But until that
seems
is
like a genuine
mistake. That is proven, I don't think that will be proven. I don't know what to say there, but like it's not going to be proven otherwise. It's probably a mistake.
No point in assuming.
And anyways, they're gonna be disqualified. A lot of loss of points.
You know what they say about assuming, right, Andrew?
What?
I'll tell you after we finish
Okay.
recording.
All right, save it for a rainy day, I guess. But yeah, it's strange. I was shocked. I was surprised by this.
I don't know if I can say it on the podcast. That's why.
Yeah, I think IndyCar did the right thing of saying, Jay Fry saying, okay, we got to disqualify this. Sorry, boss.
That's what happens when you assume.
Oh yeah, I've seen you said that before. But yeah, if you do, like, if Penske's been cheating, well, with this disqualification, that makes me sure that that Penske has been cheating in the past, and IndyCar hasn't turned a blind eye to it, because this is a huge penalty, and yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how it all went down. It was interesting, surprising.
Yeah.
Pato O'Ward getting a win after crossing the line second is wild.
I mean, I'm happy the guy won, but also it made me lose the pick plane.
Yeah,
battle.
that battle, that put us tied entering the week.
Yeah, we'll go over.
We'll
this
go
week's
over that
results.
later. Yeah, but yeah, that was the big news of the week. Also, IndyCar disallows political branding on cars at the Indy 500. An unknown car had the intentions of promoting both Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and former President Donald Trump.
That would have been a wild car.
That would have been interesting. And
That's
I'm
one
not
word
gonna,
for it.
I'm not gonna. I think this is a good idea to ban whoever. It's best to just say okay. No one can advertise. I think that's best for the sport because a lot of people don't like Trump. A lot of people don't like Biden. And a lot of people are going to get mad if you run a Trump car or a Biden car.
Mm-hmm.
Best
to avoid the situation.
Best to avoid it. Keep the politics out of the sports. Keep the sports out of the politics, and everyone will be happy in the sports.
At least in advertising.
Yeah.
Because what are we doing there?
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to name names on the podcast, but I have a guess of who it might be, because
What?
I have a guess. I'll show Ethan, but I'm not going to say it on the podcast because it's not good to assume. But yeah, it would be this person I thought might be running it. But
oh yeah, that makes sense.
But in sad news, that makes me very, very angry.
Warning: you are about to witness an angry rant from Andrew Hazlett.
Yes, David Malukas was released from McLaren. I am backing up because I don't want to scream into your ear. I will scream into a microphone that is now 2 feet away. This is frustrating. You sign a guy that has a lot of promise to your team. He gets injured. And you say, okay, I don't even want to see you anymore. Get out of my face. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. You let the guy have his chance. You honor the contract. You're making Red Bull look better with what they did with Nick DeVries. And I still think you butchered that situation awfully with DeVries. But this is frustrating because Malukas showed promise. The guy drove a Dale Coyne car in 2023 to a podium. That's like dragging a Haas to a podium. The Coyne cars are that irrelevant. Arguably one of the 2 worst teams last year. Maybe one of the 3 worst teams. And now just having that capable of driver, the guy that could probably win races in good equipment, saying, no, I don't want you because you got injured and you couldn't come back on time. That's just wrong. That's just mismanagement. This is why McLaren is not going to be a championship-winning race team in the next 5 years. They can't manage drivers. And with the drivers, you see your teammate getting fired after 0 races in the team. Oh, what are they going to do to me? They could fire me at any point.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just awful. Awful. I hate it for Malukas very much. I look in the past, McLaren, since that team has been renamed to McLaren. They were formerly Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports, and they kind of merged to become Schmidt-Peterson McLaren. Well, they weren't really that, but they were. I called them Spam. But yeah, what happened when they took over? They got rid of Hinchcliffe, who was a solid driver, who finished who was a solid driver who finished around 12th every year. That always outperformed his teammates. And he did a thing where he did some I can't say it isn't the word that rhymes with corn, but very close to the word that rhymes with corn, if you know what I mean. And he kind of got let go after the season for that. And they brought in a whole new team the next year with one of the drivers being Oliver Askew. And they said, after one season, nope, you're gone. And that was kind of granted because Bro was racing with a concussion and he knew it. But still, like, that was the shortened season. You gave the guy when he wasn't racing with concussion like symptoms, that was a solid 8 races. 8 races. You say, no, I don't want to see this guy no more. You bring in Felix Rosenquist to replace him. And then you wanted, first year was fine, second year was fine, except that the fact they wanted to bring in Alex Palou to replace him. That didn't work for them, obviously. Palou stayed with Ganassi. So they said, okay, Felix, we'll have you back for another year. And then they say, okay, we're finally going to get rid of you. And they bring him in for David Malukas, and then they sack him again. This is just so wrong on so many levels. This is just bad. Bad, 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 bad. Bad on McLaren. If anyone at Aero McLaren seeing this, I hope you listen. Do better. You're better than that. Come on, Zach Brown.
Yeah. So.
This is not me yelling now. It's for the rest of the season. It's going to be a mix of what we've already seen in all likelihood. Callum Ilott and Teo Pourchaire. Pourchaire is going to be at the next race. Callum Ilott is going to be at the Indianapolis 500. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet, but that's what's probably going to happen. And then they're going to share that car for the rest of the year. There is hopefully a possibility that David Malukas could come back at Detroit or then on Dale Coyne Racing, where he first was racing, has a car that has no drivers from Detroit on. I'd like to see him go there. Please, Dale Coyne, make it happen.
Yeah.
Please.
I mean, McLaren, Teo Pourchaire and Callum Ilott are both really good drivers, so it's not like they're losing out on talent per se, but it's a really bad situation because David Malukas is a really good driver. You're making a mess out of everything with your contracts, like Andrew said. It just breeds distrust. It's a bad situation all around. Hopefully, Malukas gets picked up by someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of said it all.
Ilott and Pourchaire combined, the best run was 11th. And at Barber last week, McLaren, their best finisher was Teo Pourchaire, who finished 22nd of 27 cars. So yeah, I don't like rooting against teams, but quite frankly, I hope that's the way it goes for McLaren in the future, unless they can figure it out.
All right, on to another series that McLaren competes in, Formula One. Nico Hülkenberg is set to leave Haas. He will join Sauber in 2025 and be there for the transition into Audi. We don't know who his teammate's going to be, but Nico Hülkenberg, German driver in that German or soon-to-be German team. Yeah, I mean, you know.
Deutsch noises.
The thing with Nico Hülkenberg is, like, you kind of know what you're going to get. You know, like, he's a consistent driver. He's not going to wow you, but he's a good veteran presence for that team who can aid the transition. So, I kind of like the move. It's not, like, my favorite in the world, but I'm a fan. What about you, Andrew?
I like it for Hülkenberg. Because it's an upgrade, obviously. That's good for him. From the Audi side, it's an alright move. I think it's a slight upgrade from what they've got.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it's a major
I think
upgrade.
they were hoping for better.
I think Audi.
If they can get signs.
I think Audi is really happy with Nico Hülkenberg because German driver in a German team. You know, that's pretty big for them. But in terms of just talent, purely, yeah, I don't think it's a major upgrade. Mm-hmm. I mean, Chris Medland says that suggests that Sainz is going to join Hulkenberg, there's rumors like that from everyone. I don't know if Carlos Sainz would take that. I mean, you got to think like if Mercedes offers him, that's a better place. But it does seem like Audi is pursuing him hard. I mean, we've heard the Red Bull camp say that they can't compete with the contract offer that Sainz has received from the Audi camp. So, yeah, Carlos Sainz very well could be joining Nico Hulkenberg there. Moving on to the next two pieces. Andrew, these are kind of more yours, but the F1 Commission is delaying their decision on the new point system. I'm not surprised. It's Formula One. They weren't going to change.
Yeah, they're delaying it to June or July at some point. And the F1 new 24/7 channel is going live in the U.S. May 1st. So
That's
people
cool.
in the U.S. can watch Formula One content all day long. Which, the last time something like this was in the U.S., you had the Speed channel, which I was more based on NASCAR, but I do believe they had IndyCar and Formula One content, which I would love to see that return of a channel, a TV channel, like a golf channel that NBC has, of a racing channel. You have NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, your American short track racing, American dirt racing. Just talk about the American racing series in America. I think it would be great because you have all these series and the passionate fans for each.
Yeah.
And if you have an hour show in the morning, afternoon, kind of like it's what your Stephen A. Smith, Pat McAfee, your Sports Center, you have those personalities equivalents to your racing series. I think that would make a great channel.
That's $1 million idea, Andrew. I think we need to get on that.
And then Air Classic races at midnight for fun.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, do you know if this F1 channel is just going to be doing old races or what?
I don't know. Let me pull it up. Let me pull the racer article up. Yeah. Something to note, the 35th entry for the Indianapolis 500, the AWOL car, it's just dependent on R.C. Enerson's funding. So yeah, we'll see about that. Hopefully that comes to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
TV.
Anyway, while you're finding that, I will go on to our next story. Adrian Newey is set to leave Red Bull Racing. However, he is not retiring, but he will be leaving Red Bull.
That's official now?
I mean, every single person everyone's reporting on it. You got BBC reporting on it, Autosport, The Race, Formula One's even talking about it themselves. It's not officially official, but it's happening. It's about as official as it can be without being officially official, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, Adrian Newey, for those that don't know, his role has kind of been diminishing in recent years, but he is the aerodynamic mastermind behind race-winning cars. He started off his career at Williams. He went to McLaren. Now he's at Red Bull, obviously. He is the aerodynamic mastermind of the machine that Max Verstappen propels to victory every single weekend. Adrian Newey is an absolute genius, and no matter what team he is on, their chances of winning skyrockets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, put on your tinfoil caps. Do we think that this has something to do with the Christian Horner situation? Maybe, maybe not. We don't have to answer that, but just something to think about.
He might be bored.
He's getting up there in age. He might want a new challenge before he does retire, but just leaving the team like this, I don't know. But the thing is, Adrian Newey is under contract for another year with Red Bull, and then he would have a 1-year kind of clause that says he can't go to work for any other team. So the BBC is reporting that Newey's lawyers are negotiating an early exit with Red Bull Racing. So he would be able to join another team before the new regulations come out. So, yeah, I mean, just kind of huge, really. There's a lot of talk about either Aston Martin or Ferrari being the potential landing spot. I mean, Lawrence Stroll would throw endless money at Adrian Newey, but Ferrari has the appeal. I mean, Adrian Newey has said he wants to work with Fernando Alonso, but he's also said he wants to work for Ferrari. He's also said he wants to work with Lewis Hamilton. So this is a developing story that I'm sure we'll be talking about next week as well. But Adrian Newey, he might be the biggest free agent in the Formula One world. Not Carlos Sainz, not any other driver. Adrian Newey.
Not Lewis Hamilton's move.
Well, Lewis Hamilton already signed. I'm talking about free agents.
Mm-hmm. The F1 new 24/7 streaming channel. Yeah, it will be operated by C15 Studio. Around the clock F1 content. The subscription-free channel is ad-supported. Will allow fans to watch F1, F2, and F3 and F1 Academy race replays and highlights, full reruns of classic Grand Prix, and popular racing documentaries. So no talk shows. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
Last bit of F1 news. Before the Miami weekend starts, Aston Martin is seeking right to review Fernando Alonso's 10-second time penalty that he got in China after he was deemed to have caused the collision between himself and Carlos Sainz while they were fighting for position. ESPN is reporting that Aston Martin wants to challenge that. And the main reason they want to challenge this isn't because of that 10-second time penalty. That didn't really, whatever. But the super license points, this added 3 penalty points to a super license, which means he has 6 over the past 12 months. And if you don't know, you can only accumulate 11 in 12 months. If you accumulate 12 in 12 months, you are banned for a race. So halfway there, you just want to have, that's still a ways away, but you want to have the fewer the better, right? Why have a penalty when you can try to not? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be really hard for this to get overturned, but it's, they're going to try. And that's that. So, and now for next week's race previews. Getting into the points now, pick points for us. We will review last week for Xfinity Series Dover.
I suggested one of us should pick Ryan Truex. He won.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
No. Sam Meyer finished ahead of Justin Allgaier, who me and Andrew picked. The guest picked Sam Meyer, 1 point. Brad Keselowski and Ross Chastain, the guest pick and my pick, finished behind Martin Truex Jr. in the Cup Series. Nolan Siegel, who me and Andrew both picked, finished ahead of Louis Foster, who the guest picked. And then Alex Blow, who Andrew picked, finished ahead of Pato O'Ward and Scott Dixon.
Who had abysmal days.
Who, I picked and our guest picked. And then...
What's the total points here?
Yes. You picked up 3, I picked up 1, the guest picked up 1. So you, regrettably, are ahead now, 110 to 108 to 84.
Yeah. I like that. But, as I always say, I can swing right around this week.
So, preview?
Yeah, Kansas. We got Kansas. Of the mile and a half, probably the best mile and a half of the traditional cookie cutters. Darlington really doesn't count. Or Homestead really doesn't count either. But Kansas, I always called it the default mile and a half track. Yeah, I really don't have much to say. Of your random drivers that you just appear in the 15 this week, we have Riley Herbst for his second and I think final start in the 15 this year. A lot of people suggested, this is going to be a super speedway race for his second race, but no. You have Derek Kraus in the 16 this week for Colleague. And then you've got the 2 open entries. In those, you have the 33 Richard Childress Racing for Austin Hill and the 84 Legacy Motor Club for Jimmy the Juggernaut Johnson. Eric Jones scheduled to be in the 43 this week, unless that will happen, unless he his back is not healed, which will be set by a doctor that they'll talk to soon, I guess. Some point this week, I don't know. But yeah, he is driving. If he isn't driving, it'll be Corey Heim. Truck race. I don't know why we're going to Darlington here, but we're truck race for the trucks. Only 33 entries this week. You've got Cup of the random drivers pulling up. You have Brett Moffitt in the 1 this week. He could be a sleeper pick. Connor Mosack, not Connor Zilic, in the 7. 2 different young Connors. Mosack not as good. Jennifer Jo Cobb showing up in her entry. Mason Maggio in the 2nd Rium entry. You've got Caden Honeycutt in the 45 for Nice, that 3rd truck. Cam Waters, the Australian Supercars guy, in the 5th Thor Sport truck. And you've got Zane Smith in the 91 this week for McAnally Hilgerman, which is the only Cup driver in the field this week. So, with that being said, let's get into the picks. Go. You take.
You don't want me to preview Miami?
Oh, you preview Miami too.
Miami's happening.
I forgot about that.
That's the preview. No,
it's
a sprint weekend, so that's a thing. Remember, sprints do not determine race order anymore. Sprints points go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First to 8th. Miami it's one of the tracks of all time, you know.
Josh Revel had it in the top 10 of his top 10 worst tracks.
Yeah, I don't really have much to preview about Miami.
Will it be hot? Will it be slick?
It'll probably be hot. I don't know. I'm hungry. Let's do the points and get out of here.
Again, we're delaying my NASCAR segment for the 3rd week in a row. Yeah.
It might never happen.
It will happen eventually.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
It'll be next week.
And now for next week's race picks.
Corey Heim is the pick for Truck Series for both myself and our guest, Mr. Morgan Tremmel.
Who's the honorary guest picker at this point.
Yeah.
Been dubbed as that. I'm going different. Heim is boring.
Gotta get
Heim
Royce's
is no
opinion
fun.
back on the pod.
I like Christian Eckes. He's won there before. I don't think Corey Heim has.
Corey Heim has had good results there, though. He's finished in the top few positions a few times. So he's good there. And then Morgan once again stole my pick. Denny Hamlin in the Cup Series.
Going back to back?
Yeah. I mean, he's hot right now. He's good at Kansas.
Question. Was it after Denny Hamlin wins?
After Denny Hamlin
William
wins.
Byron wins.
Yes. After Denny Hamlin wins, William Byron will win. So my pick next week will most likely be...
But Denny Hamlin won last week.
Oh, you're right.
So you're saying the prophecy won't happen?
Oh, no, you're right. Oh, no.
I've got Ethan questioning his life choices.
No. All this means is that William Byron's going to win 2 in a row.
Okay.
After this. Wait, is William Byron good at Kansas?
I don't know.
Wait, give me 2 seconds. I forgot.
1 Mississippi, 2
Okay, a little more than 2 seconds. If anyone is unaware, there's a stat that the last 6 or 7 races that Denny Hamlin has won, 80% of the time William Byron has won the next race.
There's 2 Kansas races, by the way.
Yeah, he finished in 28. Yeah, he's not that good there, I don't think.
Yeah, 0 Kansas wins. He's got a third there once.
A third. Yeah, we're gonna say that this is a rare time that William Byron doesn't win after a Denny Hamlin win. It's a rare occurrence. It really is, but.
All right. For my pick,
Watch him win.
I will. Since the next gen era, Kurt Busch has won driving for Denny Hamlin. Bubba Wallace has won driving for Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin has won not driving for Denny Hamlin.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyler Reddick has won driving for Denny Hamlin.
Mm-hmm.
Those 4 drivers, all Toyotas. I'm going with a Toyota. Martin Truex Jr. Won there in the past. I think it's just a Toyota dominant track of late. I like old MTJ.
All right. Big shocker. We all had Max Verstappen to win the sprint and to win the main race.
Wow.
We have a little bit of
difference of opinion.
Yeah, and the way the rest of the podium's going to fill out. Me and Andrew, we're on the same page, with second place being Sergio Perez. Morgan is saying good old Chuck Leclerc. And then me and Morgan...
Is Willie T. Ribs doing interviews again, please? I need that in my life. I love Willie T. Ribs.
Lando Norris, who...
let me finish here.
I'm hungry. I want to leave.
On when the SRX series was still around, when they had him race the first series, he was dog water. So they moved him to the pits, and bro was the best pit reporter of all time. He would just flame random people just because.
Yeah.
I need more Willie T. Ribs pit reports in my life.
So, Lando Norris, who broke his face, not really, but kind of, in the Netherlands, I believe it was, or Belgium, I don't know. Somewhere in Europe, he got a boo-boo on his face, partying, something. Look it up. You have Google.
Look it up. You have Google. That's an all-timer.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe...
Or Bing.
I was going to say, maybe you're a Bing guy, but then I thought against it, because who is a Bing guy? Lando Norris is the pick for third place for both myself and Mr. Morgan. Andrew, you're picking Carlos Sainz because you are the number 1 Carlos Sainz supporter.
Because Ferraris are fast.
I respect the dedication. Speaking of Ferrari, they're going to be blue.
Yeah.
They're going to be blue. At least a little bit. Okay, bye. Bye.
This will be the final time.
Okay, bye.
To me, it looked like he actually lost the wheel.
The wheel for Ross Chastain is still and perfect.
Wheel on the track.
Did you leave the wheel loose?
You picked the fine time to leave me loose, wheel.